Eala brutally exacted retribution on Aryna Sabalenka. Indeed, the cameras recorded everything. Months ago, an angry handshake turned into a full-fledged feud that no one could have predicted. Winning a match was not the only goal. It was about redemption, pride, and demonstrating that skill could subdue authority. Every serve and point seemed like a statement as the two reconnected beneath the bright lights. However, the events of that evening stretched much beyond tennis. It turned into a lesson in control, anger, and retaliation. Because this was more than just a game to Alexa. It was retaliation. It all started on a muggy evening in the dazzling lights of Dubai a few months ago. With the same calm concentration that had propelled her to junior championships and national prominence, Eala onto the court. Aryna Sabalenka stood across the net, ferocious, strong, and blatantly self-assured. It was more than a contest. A collision of planets occurred. Experience versus youth. Raw ferocity versus calm precision. The excitement was tremendous from the very first serve. Eala's control and court sense responded calmly to Sabalenka's force, which tore through the air like thunder. It seemed to be in balance for a time until Sabalenka started playing her psychological tricks. She grinned in between points. She may have rejoiced too loudly. And Sabalenka's scowl across the net told it all when I missed a simple return. Frustration started to creep in during the second set. You do not belong here. The weight of expectation seemed to reverberate with every stroke I made. Instead of the emerging star who was still figuring things out, the audience applauded the huge names. Cameras focused on her eyes, but they broke when they zoomed closer. Sabalenka was adept at using it. She moved around the baseline with the authority of someone who had already written the conclusion, smiled after wins, and yelled after aces. The moment that altered everything then arrived. Point of match. Sabalenka finished it with a devastating forehand winner down the line in her typical brave manner, but Eala battled through 3 deuces, defending with absolute resolve. The audience exploded. With her racket loose in her fingers, Eala remained still. The tension was palpable as they walked over to shake hands. "Welcome to the big leagues, kid," Sabalenka said, leaning in and whispering something that only the microphones partially captured. Then came the smile, that smug, dismissive smirk that millions would replay online for days. Eala forced a smile back, but her eyes told a different story, burning humiliation, frustration, and something even deeper, a quiet promise. Back in the locker room, Eala avoided the cameras, sitting in silence with a towel over her head while her phone buzzed out viral footage of the handshake. "You'll see." That night, I scrolled through it all. Every tweet, every highlight, every jab at her inexperience. She didn't cry. She didn't lash out. She simply watched over and over again because something inside her had shifted. That defeat didn't crush her. It carved her. It etched a goal so clear that even sleep couldn't blur it. She began to replay each point in her mind, not as mistakes, but as blueprints. Every missed shot became a lesson. Every smirk from Sabalenka became fuel. Over the next few days, she vanished from public sight. No interviews, no training videos, no statements. But those close to her noticed the change. Her workouts grew longer, her rallies sharper. She stopped posting motivational quotes and started living them. Revenge, one of her coaches whispered, watching her from across the court. That's what's driving her now. And he was right. Because from that night on, every drop of sweat, every repetition, every bruise on her palm, all of it had one name written on it. Sabalenka. The cameras didn't know it yet. The fans didn't see it coming. But the next time Eala would step onto the court with Aryna Sabalenka, it wouldn't be as a rising star. It would be as a storm. After that night in Dubai, Eala disappeared. Not from tennis, but from noise. No interviews, no press conferences, no social media updates, just silence. But inside that silence, something powerful was building. They said, revenge is best served cold. Eala preferred it earned. While the rest of the tennis world moved on, she went underground figuratively and literally. Her training base shifted to Morca, where days bled into nights and routine became obsession. 6-hour sessions turned into 8. Matches against practice partners turned into battles. Coaches said they'd never seen her like this before. Ruthless, focused, unshakable. Her team called it the rebuild, but Eala called it unfinished business. Every morning started before sunrise. She'd stand by the baseline, eyes closed, replaying that handshake in her mind, that smirk from Sabalenka, that whisper that said, "You're not ready." It wasn't anger that pushed her. It was purpose. She didn't want to destroy Sabalenka. She wanted to surpass her. The transformation wasn't just physical. It was mental. She studied Sabalenka's patterns, the rhythm of her serves, her breathing before a forehand, the way she disguised drop shots. Eala didn't just prepare to play her again. She prepared to understand her. Every time she missed a shot in practice, she whispered to herself, "Next time." Her coach once tried to stop her after 5 hours on court. Eala simply looked up and said, "She trains longer." He didn't argue again. The sports world began to notice her absence. Fans wondered where she'd gone. Rumors spread. She's injured. She's burned out. She's lost confidence. But those who'd seen her in training knew better. The fire was there. It was just hidden, waiting for the right moment to erupt. Then one afternoon, a clip surfaced online. A short training video leaked by a teammate. Eala hitting serves at full power. Each one echoing like thunder in the empty indoor court. The caption simply read, "She's coming back stronger." Within hours, it went viral. Comments flooded in. "She looks different. Her concentration is astounding. Is Sabalenka the subject of this?" When her coach asked if she was ready to return to the tour, Eala said, "Find me her bracket." And fate did just that. A few weeks later, the WTA draw for the Madrid Open dropped. Eala and Sabalenka were in the same section. If they both advanced, a quarterfinal clash was inevitable. The internet exploded. Sports media called it the revenge run. Headlines read, "Can I redeem herself against the Titan?" This time, no fear, as said softly in the locker room before her first match. A did not react. She did not post, did not comment, just trained. But behind the composed exterior, her pulse quickened. She knew this was it. The path had looped back, the script writing itself. The same woman who had once humiliated her would now face the version of Eala she never saw coming. That week, each swing had a purpose. When reporters questioned Eala about the rivalry, the handshake, and the murmurs, she smiled courteously and said, "I am not thinking about the past. Every victory was a step closer to the ultimate clash. I'm thinking about what's next." But everyone knew the truth. What was next was her past. And it was about to catch fire. The cameras would soon see it. The fans would soon feel it. And when Eala finally stood across the net from Sabalenka again, the storm she'd been building for months was ready to break. The air inside the Madrid arena was heavy. That kind of silence that lives between anticipation and chaos. Fans filled every seat, phones out, hearts racing. The match everyone had been waiting for was finally here. Eala versus Aryna Sabalenka. Revenge versus reputation. Calm precision against pure power. From the first step onto the court, you could feel the difference. Eala didn't smile, didn't wave. Her eyes locked straight across the net, unblinking, unreadable. Sabalenka, on the other hand, walked in like a storm, chest high, racket tapping rhythmically on her thigh. She gave a quick smirk, the same one from Dubai, like she still owned the moment. But this time, the moment didn't belong to her. The first serve of the match echoed like a gunshot. Sabalenka opened with aggression, slamming aces and shouting after every point. But Eala didn't flinch. She moved like water, calm, fluid, adapting. Each rally turned into a battle of wills. Then came the stare. After one of the longest points of the first set, 23 shots of relentless precision, Eala finished it with a laser forehand down the line. The crowd erupted. And for the first time, she didn't just turn away. She looked right at Sabalenka, cold, steady, silent. That look alone said everything. "I'm not the same girl from Dubai." Cameras zoomed in immediately. The clip spread across Twitter in minutes. Eala just gave Sabalenka the death stare. One post read. Another said, "That's the look of revenge." The match escalated. Sabalenka tried to overpower her, but Eala kept absorbing the hits and sending them back with precision. It was chess disguised as tennis. Sabalenka shouted, clenched her fist, tried to rattle her opponent, but calm became her armor. Midway through the second set, something extraordinary happened. Sabalenka, frustrated after losing back-to-back points, slammed her racket into the clay. The crowd gasped. Eala didn't react. She simply walked to the baseline, bounced the ball 3 times, and fired an ace down the middle. Her fastest serve of the tournament. The stadium exploded. Sabalenka stared in disbelief. Eala didn't celebrate. She just nodded once as if saying, "That one was for Dubai." The cameras caught every second. The glare, the composure, the message. Broadcasters replayed the moment in slow motion, calling it the turning point. By the time the final set began, the tension had reached its peak. Every rally felt personal, every point like a conversation between rivals who spoke only in shots. At 54, with Sabalenka serving to stay in the match, Ia broke her serve with a blistering backhand winner that painted the line. The chair umpire called, "Game set, match, Eala." The crowd went wild. Ia fell to her knees, not in disbelief, but in release. Months of silence, training, and humiliation had all led here. As they walked to the net, Sabalenka hesitated. This time there was no smirk, no whisper, just quiet acknowledgement. Eala extended her hand, firm, calm, almost regal. Sabalenka took it. Cameras flashed from every angle. And then, just as they released hands, Ia whispered, barely audible, but caught by the sideline mic, "Welcome back to mine." The internet exploded within minutes. Clips titled Eala's cold revenge moment flooded every platform. Fans debated what she meant. Analysts called it poetic justice. But for those who had followed the journey, the meaning was clear. This was not arrogance. It was closure. Eala didn't scream. She didn't gloat. She walked off the court with the quiet satisfaction of someone who didn't need validation. Because this time, the cameras didn't capture defeat. They captured redemption, and the story wasn't over yet. Because when revenge plays out on a global stage, the world always has something to say next. Within minutes of the final handshake, the world went into overdrive. Every angle of that match, every stare, every whisper, every breath was already uploaded, dissected, and debated by millions. The phrase "Eala's revenge" began trending worldwide within the hour. Clips of her icy stare flooded Twitter and TikTok, slowed down and captioned with words like cold, fearless, and queen energy. Others looped the final handshake, zooming in on the exact second she said, "Welcome back to mine." Nobody even agreed on what she meant, but that didn't matter. It became a moment bigger than the match itself. Sports outlets exploded. ESPN called it a rivalry reborn. Tennis Channel labeled it the rise of a new mental titan. Even players chimed in. Coco Gauff tweeted, "She's not a kid anymore." While Jabir posted a simple fire emoji, but not everyone was cheering. Sabalenka's fans fired back immediately. They accused Eala of arrogance, of mocking a champion. One headline from a Belarusian outlet read, "Disrespect or dominance. Eala crosses the line." And just like that, the narrative split in half. For every fan calling her a hero, another called her cold. For every post praising her composure, another accused her of revenge gone too far. But through it all, Eala stayed silent. She didn't post. She didn't respond. She didn't even acknowledge the noise. While social media burned around her, she returned to training the next morning like nothing had happened. Still, the world refused to move on. Analysts replayed the handshake over and over. Slow motion, lip reading, frame-by-frame breakdowns. They turned a whisper into a documentary. What did she really say? Was it planned? Was it emotional or calculated? The story took on a life of its own. Talk shows debated her attitude. Former players called in with opinions, some praising her poise, others warning her not to let pride lead the way. And yet, the one person who could silence the chaos didn't. Then came Sabalina's interview. Sitting in front of reporters, she smiled faintly. "She played great," she said at first. A diplomatic answer, the kind veterans give when pride still hurts. But then someone asked the question everyone was waiting for. "Did Eala disrespect you during the handshake?" Sabalenka paused, looked down, then laughed softly. She said what she wanted to say. "I respect that," she replied. But she should know. I don't forget easily either. That one line reignited the fire. Now fans were calling it a rivalry in the making. Memes flooded the internet. Split screenshots of their faces under captions like calm versus chaos and fire meets ice. Tennis had found its newest cinematic rivalry. Meanwhile, Eala's team tried to keep her grounded. Her coach told her, "Let them talk. You did what you came for," she said, but even he could see that the storm was still in her eyes. Yes, revenge had been achieved, but something deeper lingered because revenge does not end when the scoreline does. It lives in the echoes, in the way people remember it, misinterpret it, reshape it. When Eala finally opened her phone that evening, she scrolled through the chaos, hashtags, edits, and opinions, but one comment stopped her cold. She did not want revenge. She wanted respect. And in that moment, she smiled for the first time since the match. Because that stranger, hidden behind a username, had understood what millions hadn't. This wasn't about humiliation. It wasn't about payback. It was about reclaiming her place. Not just in tennis, but in herself. Still, the world wanted more. The headlines screamed it. Eala vs Sabalenka 2.0. When? And as the next tournament loomed, one thing became certain. The rivalry had only just begun. When the noise faded and the lights dimmed, Eala was finally alone. No cameras, no reporters, no voices analyzing her every expression. Just silence, the kind that comes after a storm. For days, the world had turned her victory into a headline, a spectacle, a storyline about revenge. But inside her heart, it wasn't about payback anymore. It never really was. In her hotel room, she replayed the match on her tablet. Not the handshake, not the stare, just the rallies, the movement, the rhythm, the flow. To her, those were the real moments of redemption. Every point she fought for had been a conversation with her past self. The one who doubted, who hesitated, who froze under pressure. That was who she truly defeated. The truth behind her revenge.